Hello BAME farm fans. This is going to be the soybean planting video. This is the last field of soybeans, or tillage soybeans going in. I've got the no-till to do, so that means there's going to be another video. Since I'm not driving, I'm going to try to do this in one shot and be done. Because well, save me some editing time. But as usual, the 1086 is planting beans. We're still using the 295 row units on this toolbar with the tram lines. And it is dusty. I wonder if that's a rain cloud. We're slated for rain maybe tomorrow morning. We've gone a long time without rain. You know, maybe like 10 days. Or close to 2 weeks, I can't remember. Once you get working, you just get going. It's got to the point where it was so dry, yeah, the finish on this field without bringing a rototiller out here and beating it into submission isn't fantastic, so we're just, well, gonna play the hope the rain helps us game. We're still planting Claremont soybeans, you know, non-GMO, all that good stuff. See, this little roughness on the outside round helps get the not probiotic and not fungicide, whatever. We put some powdered stuff on the beans that I showed when planting corn from Myco Gold, and this really helps get it worked down in. Of course, it really makes us wish we had lids. And if we look way over yonder, I'm going to be feeding 3 deer all summer. See a mom and 2 fawns. Really going to cramp my style. Now the owner hunts here, but I may have to tell him, you owe me a deer for all the beans they're going to eat. The corn probably grows so fast. Like, I didn't see much deer damage in the corn last year, but I can already tell you there's going to be areas where I will be thoroughly hating those overgrown goats. So I've been doing all the tillage for the beans pretty well with the TW. That's been going well. Probably helps that it's so dry. I haven't run into trouble in any wet spots. Haven't run into any wet spots. All the wet spots are a nice moisture to where they till up real nice and fine, and then all the regular dry spots where we'd be sticking to in most other years to try to avoid the wet spots. Well, they got baked dry, but I'm not complaining. I wouldn't want to be in Minnesota this week. They're getting absolutely dumped on. So glad I don't live there, because then I would really, really, really hate rain. It sounds like they're getting inches every day. And from all the pictures and the flooding, that is not my kind of fun. I'd rather eat dust than drown in a mud puddle. Now this is where the soil looks real nice. This is typically a bit damp down here. There's a creek over yonder, and it smells like summer and creek down here. And the air is slightly cooler. But you guys can't smell that, so I gotta tell you all about it. I love the simplicity of these row units. Ever since I was able to reorganize the Quonset and get this in the barn every winter, like, maintenance is easy. There's 3 grease zerks right across the gears underneath that turn the plate. I can pop the covers off all the chains, but nothing gets rusty. Doesn't mean I wash it. It still has last year's dust and all of this year's dust. But pretty paint doesn't make it plant any better. Whew. Now we're standing where the deer were before. Ooh. They better not eat my beans. So the center of the wheels are sort of cupped. The point is that they're putting pressure to close the seed trench and leave the top, you know, a little bit soft for easy germination. Now we did set the tire spacing on the TW that we could plant with it also to match our rows here, which also coincides pretty well with the wide row corn. There was one year I planted with the 2+2 and the tires were really close on that row and that row over there. Pretty much most of the tractors have spacing to fit this. That's a good way to get rid of that branch. Yeah. Tree removal with the planter marker. This has more stout markers than the corn planter because we have one bent one that I cut a tree with one year. Of course, I don't ever see why we'd plant with the TW unless the 1086 was having major problems. But it's always nice to have a backup to the reserve for the guy sitting on the bench. Because sometimes you just got to keep going and lick our wounds way later, like over winter. Okay, well, it's probably been a fun bean planting video. I'm getting tired of following the planter around. Not a whole lot has changed from years past. Other than I'm tickled to be finished on June 22nd. It's 12 days later than last year. But there's been years where it's been a lot worse. And like I said, we could be like, you know, up in Minnesota, northern Iowa, northern plains where they're getting hammered with rain. And we're planting into dust, so won't that mean that the bins will bust? You know, I meant to get this part of the video when there were still leaves out here, but the dryness, the drought we had really quickened up the maturation of the beans, and I'm just now getting to edit this video about planting. Yeah. Whole season behind. You watch Corn Warriors and that you won't see that till next year, so get over yourself. You'll see it when you see it. So yeah, this is these are probably the best beans back here behind the barn. This is even on a slope where it'd be really dry, and then it doesn't get runoff from the barn so much back here. We're just going to use this as a comparison. You know, this is how the tillage beans did in our 18-inch rows. Oh, that is not a huge bean, that's for sure. Oh, that's a flat, shriveled little guy. Wonder how much of that's happening out there. They're not dry, that one's still half green. Yeah, so soybeans could be abysmal in the area. Just didn't get enough rain to get them to finish out. Of course, we're going to get rain tonight, and it would have been nice to have that 3 weeks ago. Oh well. So, yes. They look good, they look tall. But soybeans can do a lot of good looking and still not be great, unfortunately. So, I guess we'll end the tillage soybean planting video with this. And it was an adventure of a dry season.